This very simple document lays out a very simple form of where we think Landcare needs to go next. How do we take it from what it has been and what it is to be through a period of change in our system. But also, I think one of the important things that come up today is how do we respond to what we see in the changing sensibility amongst our friends and neighbours and landholders and urban populations about how we live with the planet, how we deal with the challenges of climate change and biodiversity loss, how we deal with our intensive pressure on our natural systems, and Landcare as an expression for that. And so the Futures Framework seeks to take some things out of the future and say these are areas that we need to be able to take Landcare into and be strong in the way that we advocate for Landcare as leaders in the national Landcare space. And the three things that I know that you will all have looked at this framework, but the three important things in this are we have to look to innovation, we have to look to the changes that are occurring around us and respond to that, the opportunity that innovation is providing. And I see this in my life and in my other organisations that I'm involved in. We're getting involved, how younger people are getting involved, and how they are using technology, how they're using ideas differently than I did when it was maybe my time in my 30s to make an impact in my group or in my space. The other is that we see environmental markets, and probably we see the changing markets for all kinds of agricultural production in Australia, and the supplementation of those markets with ecosystem service markets as a really important space for Landcare and for people who are involved in Landcare. Supply chains are changing and they are expecting the footprint of production to respond to a changing consumer interest. And the environmental markets that are supplementing our traditional commodity markets are really important spaces for Landcare to be involved in helping people to understand, adjust, adapt, and select the right approaches for them as they move their production systems to be resilient, to be sustainable. And so one of the platforms of the framework is to really stretch into that market space as an advocate and to help people to engage through Landcare in what the possibilities are for a more rapid and necessary change to a sustainable production. And the last one is that what we see, and some people here have recently experienced it in the floods, others have experienced it relatively recently in the fires, and most of us have experienced it one time or other from some natural disaster. But these events that occur and that are very challenging to our lives and livelihoods, but also to those things that we love about our natural spaces and about our production systems, these challenges come with greater frequency under climate change. And what we see when they occur is a very natural response from communities through self-organising structures that pre-exist these catastrophic events and the perturbations. And to be really resilient, pre-existing structures are able to respond often faster and more effectively than top-down approaches. And what the Landcare Futures Framework sets out is a vision for Landcare being part of a surge capacity to respond to these challenges and to bring that knowledge of what was here before, how does that system work, how do we respond afterwards to the people and the environment they live in to be really effective at getting back on our feet and being resilient in doing that. So I think it's a really fairly bold step into the future of that for Landcare, and it seeks to engage as the National Landcare Forum seeks to engage our many partners in doing that. And it has a call to government for taking action on that. And we're leading into an election, and we are presenting this to government. So tonight is just a way for us as a kind of an in-group to connect with that, what this is saying and what has come out of the deep, rich conversations that have occurred across the network to form these ideas to go forward. And I want to thank the staff from the National Landcare Network for driving the conversations and the rich engagement that is behind this, particularly Kristen, really fundamental in that. And there's a lot more to do to bring this to be a reality, but I think Landcare lacked a vision. It lacked a statement into the world that says this is where we need to go. This is where our community says we have to go. And so this document sets a vision for that and sets it by listening more than talking down. And that's been really important. So thank you to all involved. We're here to celebrate having dinner together and our great conversation today, and I'm sure another great one tomorrow. But please take this away to your groups and promote it in those conversations that you have. Just I hope we remember tonight as being the start of a really great step forward in the kinds of vision that we